Going to call to order the Finance Committee meeting for March the 18th, 2019. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of March the 4th, 2019.
After reviewing of the minutes, are there any corrections or additions to the minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Cale.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 1 passed. Item number 2.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments February 28, 2019 through March 13, 2019.
Do we have a report from the Purchasing Committee?
Yes, Purchasing Committee did meet this afternoon. We did review the claims. I do appreciate, we had a couple of questions. I do appreciate, again, the staff bringing all that in front of us and the great job that they do all the time. I do recommend approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Cale.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 2 passed. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval of resolution number 2748, declaring the property located at 611 North 12th Street within the city of Muskogee as surplus property, and authorize the sale of the property to Cleveland Walker Jr. in the amount of $1,013, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Garvin.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, we're requesting approval of a resolution declaring the property located at 611 North 12th Street as surplus and authorize the sale of the property. This is a buildable lot. It contains $7,355. Therefore, according to the surplus resolution, we was required to post the property as for sale, which we did between February the 19th through the 28th. We did receive 2 bids. Mr. Walker was the highest bid in the amount of $1,013. He owns the property on both sides of the parcel, and we are recommending approval of the highest bid, Mr. Walker, in an amount of $1,013. Glad to answer any questions.
Move for approval. Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this item. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Cale.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 3 passed. Item number 4.
Consider approval of resolution number 2749, declaring certain items of personal property presently in the possession of the city of Muskogee to be surplus to the needs of the city of Muskogee, and authorize the city manager to offer for sale or dispose of the same, all as per the attached list, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller.
Yes, you see before you a couple of items that have served the city of Muskogee well over the past 20 years or so, but we have replaced them, and we do feel like it's time to let go of these items and let them move on and benefit the city in some other way. So we would like to get rid of these items since we've replaced them, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this item. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Cale.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
That was item number 4 passed. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of awarding a sole source purchase for one payment kiosk to AdComp Systems Group in an amount of $29,353, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller.
Yes, as you all know, the city, through the capital projects budget every year, tries to identify ways we can spend a capital dollar either to save money for their operating expenses in the future or to be better for customer service. And this one falls into that second category. We budgeted this year to buy a kiosk that will help allow our citizens to make payments 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for their utility bills and for any fines that they've incurred through municipal court. The idea is that we're going to take this kiosk, place it in the lobby of the police station, so it can be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and allow people to make real-time payments so that they can address either of those issues through their utility bills or through their fees and court fines. We think this can go a long way towards helping our citizens that may have trouble getting to our payment center during hours that it's open, and they may have forgotten to mail their payment in. It's a way they can meet whatever deadline that they need to meet. We think it's user-friendly. We do think that if this is successful, that we may be able to do another one in the future, but we wanted to start out with this particular item. I got to give a lot of credit to Tammy Tracy, as well as the court clerk and the revenue department, IT department, finance department. A whole lot of people had to coordinate to make sure the systems can all talk to each other and get the payments right. And they went that extra mile to try and make sure we did something that was better for our citizens. So I'm very proud of them for doing that. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer. I'll probably refer them to Tammy and her group. But we're excited about this, and we recommend approval.
Make a motion to approve. We discussed this in purchasing committee, and I am just continued to impressed by our staff here at the city, where we see multiple departments work together to solve, I wouldn't even call it challenges, but to solve processes that are inside our community, to make it easier for our community to do business, and to make it more efficient, and to save money. So thank you so much, everybody that was involved in this.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve this item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston,
Yes.
Patrick Kale,
Yes.
Wayne Johnson,
Yes.
Ivory Van,
Yes.
Derek Reed,
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 5 passed. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval of final payment to Vance Brothers Incorporated in the amount of $107,252.09 for Runway 1331 Apron and Taxiway Bravo Rehabilitation Project, pending approval by the Airport Board or take other necessary action.
Mr. Garber.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Vance Brothers is requesting final payment in the amount of $107,252.09. It's for Runway 1331 Apron and Taxiway Bravo Rehabilitation Project. This is an FAA and OAC grant-funded project. Staff is recommending approval, and it will be subject to the Airport Board's approval, which meets this Wednesday. I'd asked Drew to come up. He's got a quick PowerPoint to go over the completed project. And let me bring this up for you, Drew. Give me just a second here.
Good evening, Chairman and Committee. This was a fantastic project. This really improved the overall surfaces at the airport. This project covered a lot of square footage. So this is the airport diagram on this first slide. You can see the areas that are pointed to. They're highlighted in red and yellow. Those are the areas that were rehabilitated during this project. Our primary runway, our main parking apron, and the primary north connecting taxiway. These are the repairs that were done on runway 1331. There was a lot of joint work on this, a lot of sawing and sealing. There's probably 3,000 or more joints on this runway. It was a tremendous amount of work, and then it was all sealed in with a emulsified asphalt seal coat. The runway prior to this was starting to ravel, so you had gravel coming up off of it, creating FOD issues, and we had grass growing through a lot of the joints. So this is a before picture. You can kind of see what condition it was in. The OAC rated it approximately a 65 out of 100 on their pavement condition index scale. And this is how it looks now. What you can't see is the ride quality. Before, the joint sealant was swollen up in every single one of the joints, so you'd drive on the runway, the aircraft would land, you'd get thump, 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 thump going down it. It was bumpy. It is now smooth as glass. Vance Brothers did a fantastic job on it. The primary parking apron, the parking apron was in really bad shape. It got a different type of slurry seal over the top, something that's a little bit thicker. There was a lot of crack repair on it. It was raveling bad enough that if a aircraft started next to the terminal building and turned to leave, you would hear sand and rocks hitting the glass on the building. It was just making a lot of FOD. So that's how it looked before. All those little dots you see, that's where the rocks are coming up out of the pavement. And then this is the only good picture I have. It wasn't painted yet in this, but this is how it looks now. It's sealed and really nice. And then lastly, Taxiway Bravo, primary north connecting taxiway. PublicWorks assisted us with some of this. The center line of the taxiway was actually caving in, so we ended up milling it out and replacing it with new asphalt. And then it also received a slurry seal and crack repair. There's a before picture, and here's how it looks now. It's real nice. So, final project cost, this was funded 90% with an FAA grant, 5% with an OAC grant, and 5% by the airport. We used the capital improvement funds from fiscal year 2014 for this, and it was good that we had it. The engineering estimate on this project was $1.2 million. Vance Brothers had a really good bid price at $648,000. Reason being is they had good material cost, and they did almost all the work in-house rather than this is what they specialize in. The actual cost came out at $598,522.29 once the quantities were added up. And the total cost to the city was $29,926 after the grant reimbursements. Now, I will say this payment, it's for $107,252. We have to front the money because this is an FAA grant. We will receive all but 5% of that back. That's all I have. Thank you.
Move for approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Jenny Boydston,
Yes.
Patrick Kale,
Yes.
Wayne Johnson,
Yes.
Ivory Van,
Yes.
Derek Reed,
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 6 passed. Item number 7.
Consider approval to reject the sole bid for the bell tower project at Green Hill Cemetery or take other necessary action.
Mr. Garber.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, the cemetery bell tower project went out for bid. The bid opening was scheduled for March the 8th. We only received one bid. The bid was higher than the architect's estimate, so we are recommending to reject the sole bid and allow us to go out and rebid the project. We're going to review the plan, see what changes can be made if needed, and request, again, to reject the bids and rebid the project. Be glad to answer any questions.
Make a motion, we reject bids.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for this item to be rejected. Questions? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Jenny Boydston,
Yes.
Patrick Kale,
Yes.
Wayne Johnson,
Yes.
Ivory Van,
Yes.
Derek Reed,
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 7 passed. Item number 8.
Consider approval to reject the 2 bids on the new Public Works Services building or take other necessary action.
Mr. Riley.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and committee. This is our public services building, and the bids came in $27,000 over our estimate, and we're looking through the bids. They were high in our opinion, so we'd like to reject these bids, and then we're going to approach it as a general contractor ourselves, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Make a motion, we reject these bids.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that this item is rejected also. Roll call. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Jenny Boydston,
Yes.
Patrick Kale,
Yes.
Wayne Johnson,
Yes.
Ivory Van,
Yes.
Derek Reed,
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 8 passed, and with that passing, that is the final item on our Finance Committee.
We have one more.
One more? Oh, I'm sorry. Item number 9, please.
Consider approval to award a contract to low bidder H&G Paving for the southwest zone under our streets maintenance program for the mill and overlay 2019 period, which includes add alternate 1 for traffic striping in the amount of $583,500 or take other necessary action.
Mr. Riley.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and committee. This is our 2019 overlay for the southwest zones. The streets are listed, and there's also a map in your packet. This has been to the Streets Advisory Committee and been approved by them. And we got quite a bit of interest with 5 bids, and H&G being the low bidder, we recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this item. Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Riley. I was just wondering, on this H&G paving, have they done a lot of work for Muskogee? I mean, who done the north side of town when they done
The last mill and overlay we did?
on this H&G paving?
Mr. Van, your question is who did the mill and overlay on the last bid that we did?
No, this one right here, H&G. Who done? I mean, what have they done here in Muskogee?
They've done one of the parks project, the trail.
Just the trail.
Yes.
They hadn't done any streets.
They did a parking lot for us. They've done other street projects. not necessarily for the city, but they have done other street
Yeah,
projects.
they've done quite a bit of work in Broken Arrow.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, what I'm getting at is, have you seen their quality of work? Because, like I say, this is coming, Councilman Reed's ward, and we want the best. I mean, we want somebody to do a great job.
And the Broken Arrow jobs, similar size, they got great reviews from Broken Arrow.
Okay,
So we felt it was appropriate to award to them.
okay, that's what I need to hear.
We
'Cause
we do anticipate, like any contract, that we'll monitor
Yes.
to make sure that we're getting what we're paying for.
Please do that, sir.
Yes, we will.
Please monitor it, because it was a question before I mentioned up here about a curve over here on the north side of town. Somebody didn't think it was done correctly, and we don't want to make no mistakes on this project over here, because I know there was some mistakes done on the north side of town. But we want to make sure we don't want to make no mistakes over here in Ward 3.
Okay. We'll monitor it and take care of any issues. So.
Thank you. I turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Nothing but the best for Ward 3.
That's what we pay for, Councilman.
Any other questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston,
Yes.
Patrick Hale,
Yes.
Wayne Johnson,
Yes.
Ivory Van,
Yes.
Derek Reed,
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
All right, and with that item passing, that does bring to close the Finance Committee.
We'll now call to order Public Works Committee meeting for March the 18th, 2019. Item number 1.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of March 4, 2019.
Everybody's had time to review the minutes. Any questions on the minutes?
Move for approval. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston,
Yes.
Patrick Hale,
Yes.
Wayne Johnson,
Yes.
Ivory Van,
Yes.
Derek Reed,
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2.
Hold a public hearing and take action on the approval of ordinance number 4068A, rezoning the property located at 2011 and 2013 West Okmulgee, more particularly described in the ordinance from C1 Local Commercial to C2 General Commercial, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city to reflect said change or take other necessary action.
We will now open a public hearing on item number 2. Ms. Callahan.
Yes, thank you, Chair, committee members. This is a request for rezoning from Han Lee. He's the owner and the applicant. He's requesting to rezone from the C1 to the C2, which is from a local commercial to a general commercial. The property is addressed as 2011 and 2013 West Okmulgee. This is a photo of the property from the front, and it is zoned, like I said, the C1 local commercial. To the north is C1, and it's the Speedway Grill restaurant. Then to the northwest is C1. There's some vacant residential structures, and then also the St. Paul Methodist Church is R1, farther west. To the northeast is C2, which are the two or three little vacant commercial properties there on the end, and then the C1 zoning for the Mexican restaurant. South of the property, all along the south, is zoned R1, and they are residential structures. To the east is zoned or identified as public property. It's the former fire station number 3, and it is proposed to be the senior citizen center. Farther down, southeast is still zoned public property. It's the park, and then farther beyond is the C2 general commercial, which is Johnston Supply. To the west is a vacant lot, but it is zoned C1, local commercial and vacant. And beyond that, to the northwest is C1, and it is the Betty Smart Bonding Company. And then farther on is zoned R1, residential properties. This is a map of the area of the 300-foot radius of the properties that had been notified of the public hearings. And while the land use map does say that it is local commercial on our overall future land use map, if you look further, it doesn't comply with the commercial areas plan or the West Okmulgee Avenue corridor plan. The commercial area plan is around the downtown Muskogee. They're organized in a linear fashion along downtown's approach corridors. These areas should complement, not compete with downtown businesses. And then if you get further into our comprehensive plan on page 66 that identifies even deeper the West Okmulgee Avenue corridor plan, which is identified and suggested to create a neighborhood commercial node that includes businesses that cater primarily to the daily shopping needs of nearby residents. And therefore, with those identifications in the comprehensive plan, staff and planning commission have recommended denial of the request due to the high intensity of the C2. Be happy to answer your questions, and the applicant is here.
We do have one person that had signed up to speak to this item. Is there a Joseph Ingram here this evening to speak to this item?
He came to planning commission and then went ahead and signed up in case he wanted to come this evening, so I don't see him.
Okay. So there's nobody signed up for the public hearing under this item?
The applicant is here. I don't know if he wanted to address it.
Okay. We'll now close the public hearing. Is there questions from the Public Works Committee for staff on this?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Yes, sir.
I was noticing in my packet that I went out and looked at this today, this area, and I looked at it pretty good. And one thing bothers me is that I see it's going to be in this building also, it's going to be a marijuana dispensary. And before, I had a problem with this. This is only Ivory Van's opinion, just me. I'm not speaking for no one up here but me. I have a problem with this because you have a church within a half a block, which I said, I know it's a state law that only schools are involved in it, which the legislators should have into churches and daycares. And also up at that church, I see kids, they have a type of daycare up there also. And that's going to be the senior citizens place next door. And what gets me is right around the corner, Ms. Callahan, if you pull one of those pictures back up, not that one, not that one, not that one.
That's as far as we go.
Okay, right, that one right there.
That's the building.
We're looking at the front of this building, and all this right here. Okay, if you go to the right side of it, around the side of it is where, if people are in trouble, is where the DUI school is. And I have a problem with that because you're going to put a marijuana dispenser right here, and you still got a DUI school around there. That's sending out a great message. Because one of these days here in the state of Oklahoma, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be legal for everybody to use it, recreational. And that's when the problem is going to come in. That's why I have a problem with this issue here, and I'll say it till I leave the council. I don't mind marijuana, period. I think it helps people that need it, but sometimes there's people out there that can take this and use it and abuse it. And that's just what I have a problem with, myself, personally. Just Ivory Van.
Well, what's before us right now is the zoning. My understanding is it is staff recommendation that it not go forward from a C1 to a C2, correct?
Yes, and it's not based on the medical marijuana use because Mr. Lee has had several inquiries of other items to be located in there, and they're still at a 2-intensity commercial use. I think the most recent one where someone inquired, he said, was for a used car lot. But the C2 zoning classification just allows for items that could be located in there that would not be conducive to the neighborhood setting and what the comprehensive plan had recommended to keep it as a complement to the downtown, as it is an entrance into the downtown and to the National Historic District and the 2 districts that are there to the east of that property.
So to better address Mr. Van, or Councilman Van, your concern there is this property here, especially where it's located there on Junction there. Staff's concern for moving this from a C1 to a C2 would represent more traffic flow with whatever business went from a C1 to a C2. So they are not recommending this to move forward from a commercial 1 to a commercial 2. That's the staff recommendation.
Yes.
And my understanding is we've got this comprehensive commercial area plan, and this isn't homogeneous with that. It's not part of our plan. So sometimes there are challenges when something is allowed and probably should be allowed no matter what somebody thinks about what's going in. But in this case, the city doesn't have any plans for a C2 zoning to come in this thoroughfare. They've got a certain stretch of Old Muskogee, the downtown corridor, and this is not in our long-term plans. And that's why it was denied this morning by planning and zoning and by staff.
I was just giving a version in case of what y'all were thinking about it later. That's just my opinion, what I said today, but I'll turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Miller, would you?
Yes, just to be clear, and I think to echo what Tish said, is that the recommendation is based off of any C2 use, and the recommendation is that this is not appropriate for any C2 use, not any particular use being singled out as inappropriate. So,
Any other questions from committee?
Move for approval.
It'd actually be,
Move to deny.
Yeah, move to deny. As written, yeah.
and that was based on the
Planning.
recommendation of the
Staff
Committee.
and Planning Commission.
Staff and Planning Commission. So I have a motion to deny,
Yeah, I'll make a motion
Second?
to deny.
a second of that denial.
Yes, sir.
So I got a motion and a second to deny. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston,
Yes.
Patrick Kale,
Yes.
Wayne Johnson,
Yes.
Ivory Van,
Yes.
Derek Reed,
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item number 3.
Discuss and take action authorizing the issuance of a resolution of support to the Roxy Theater Community Trust, pledging intent to match comprehensive renovation grant funds, subject to appropriation to be used to fund capital improvements.
Mr. Miller.
yes, I'd recommend at this time that we pull this from the agenda, and we may bring it back at some future date.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Item number 4.
Consider approval to authorize Muskogee Davis Regional Airport to host Muskogee Public Library's annual Touch-a-Truck fundraiser on the airport's south apron on Saturday, April 27th, 2019, as approved by the Airport Board, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Garvin.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, the Muskogee Davis Regional Airport has hosted this event for the past several years. This is a fundraiser for the library's summer reading program. Rochelle, who is the head of the youth services at the library, is here to briefly talk about the project or the event, what to expect, and what it does for the community.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate
Hi.
you coming tonight.
Thank you. The Touch-a-Truck event has been held this will be the 10th annual event, and it has been held at Muskogee Davis Regional Airfield for at least the past 5 years. I have been part of it for 4. Basically, we get the community involved by them bringing out vehicles, as well as city vehicles for the kids to be able to climb on, honk horns, run sirens, just generally have the chance to touch those vehicles that are part of their daily lives. As well, we have community groups that do different kinds of activities for the kids. This year, with some help from Stuart Martin Kubota, we're going to be doing an excavator rodeo and see how that goes to give some more excitement for the kids. And basically, everything that we earn, be it with sponsorships or from the $2 that it costs to enter the event, goes to planning and doing our summer reading program, as well as now with some budget cuts, it gets us through the entire year, so that we have children's programming year-round, not just during the summer. Does anyone have any questions on what Touch-a-Truck is? And
I don't think there's any questions. Thank you very much. If anybody hadn't been out, I think most of the council have been out to Touch-a-Truck. It is a wonderful event. I appreciate so much PublicWorks participating. Appreciate the airport hosting it. If anybody remembers what it was like at Hatbox, it was a lot louder, a lot not as pleasant. Boy, since it moved out there, it is a wonder. It's a better event. It's much more spread out. It's a wonderful event for our community. Do I have a motion?
I motion for approval. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? I guess it's not in favor. I'm sorry. Roll call. I'm used to being in committee.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston,
Yes.
Patrick Kale,
Yes.
Wayne Johnson,
Yes.
Ivory Van,
Yes.
Derek Reed,
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
That will conclude our Public Works meeting. We have no others signed up to speak tonight. Thank you very much.
Let's get on that.